Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, the pentagon FGHIJK was reflected across the x-axis to create the pentagon F prime G prime H prime J prime K prime. Which of the following statements is correct about this transformation? Okay, so we're looking for a statement that is correct. In other words, something that is true. Is that right? And it says in the top that it was reflected across the x-axis. So this is something very important for us, right? So the first thing that I want to do is I want you to identify where the x-axis is, right? And it's right here. Okay, and the reason for that is because now I want you to think about the reflection. So this is what's going to happen. Every point that is above the x-axis will end up on the bottom, right? Any point that is below the x-axis will go to the top. So not every point is supposed to be in the same section. It depends where they were before, right? So let's go ahead and look at my definition for reflection, okay? Especially for reflection across the x-axis, right? So if you notice over here, it says in a reflection, my congruency, it will be kept, right? So we keep the congruency and look at what happens to my coordinates. Notice how the x stays as an x, right? The y is the one that it's gonna be multiplied by a negative number, okay? So keep that in mind. And there's two ways that we can do it. We can actually apply the statement that we have, right? For example, I wanna come back and check, for example, on F, right? So the coordinates for F are gonna be -6 and +3. Is that right? Yes, right? So according to my rule, says that the x is going to stay, but then I'm going to multiply by a -1. Therefore, my y will be a -3. And when I come back to my graph, and let me graph -6 and a +3, -3, it's going to go 1, 2, and 3. So it's going to be right here. And this is going to be f prime. Do you see that? So the f and the f prime are in the same line, right? Where the x is, which is -6, it's just in opposite sections. Another way that we can do it, maybe some of you guys are going to like this one, is I think about, for example, h. H, it's 3 units away from x. So we're going to keep on walking. I tell my students, cross the street. So I'm going to cross 1, 2, and 3. And this is where my h is going to be. You see that? Okay. So the next one, and if you want to, we can erase the loops so that we don't get confused. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a G. G is 0 and 7. So it's still going to be 0. So it's going to be 0 and -7, right? And this is G and G prime. Okay. So this is -7 right here. Okay. And then I already did the K. What about J? Well, J is, and I'm going to write it down over here. J is -2 and +3. So J prime will keep the -2 and the 3 will become a -3, right? So -2 is here and then 1, 2, and 3 right here. And this will be J prime. Okay? And if you want to, you can connect them, right? This is H and G. We can connect them already. And then this one is J prime. This one is K, right? And then I am going to go and find, which one am I missing? This one that is here, right? Does it have a label? That would be what, L? Yes, more than likely, right? This one is 1, 2 units away, so I'm going to go 2 units up here. Okay? And that would be the next one for me. Is that right? And that's it. Let's close it. Okay, so what's happening here is that my picture got shifted to the opposite, right? So notice how over here, every point, look, this is H and here's H prime. Here's G, this is G prime. This is J, this is J prime. This one is F, F prime, and this is my L, okay? So everything is like if you fold it. Think about it like that. Like if you fold it on the X, and that's where my points ended up, okay? So letter A, let's look at the answer choices. Letter A says the pentagon is similar. Is that true? Are they similar or are they congruent? They are actually congruent. So no, it's not similar, it's congruent. Okay. Letter B, the area, so now we're talking about area of this pentagon is equal to the area of my prime. And that has to be true because it didn't get bigger or smaller, right? So that looks like the answer. Letter C, the pentagon has the same orientation. Is that true? Orientation means, are they facing the same way? No, right? And the last one says the sum of the angles measure of pentagon is 180 less. Angles are gonna still be the same. Okay, they cannot be less, they cannot be more, nothing. Angles are not changing. Therefore, the answer for this, it is letter B. Very good.